First contact shock. The massive Galactic Federation warship emerged from slip space with the elegant precision of technology thousands of years more advanced than anything humanity had ever created. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Earth's newest exploration vessel, watching as the alien ship dwarfed her command by a factor of 20. Her palms were sweaty, but her voice remained steady as she addressed her crew. All stations, maintain position. No aggressive postures, she ordered, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. Communications, keep broadcasting the first contact package. Lieutenant Marcus Powell nodded from his station. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Captain. They're receiving, but no response yet. The bridge fell silent as they waited. Humanity had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 years ago, and this was their first encounter with an advanced alien civilization. Decades of scientific speculation were about to be answered in moments. The main view screen flickered, and a being appeared. It had iridescent blue skin with a crown of sensory appendages and 4 arms. Its eyes, 3 of them positioned in a triangle, studied the human crew with evident curiosity. "Greetings, vessels of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, surprising everyone. "I am High Commander Sci-Fi of the Galactic Federation. Your species has been monitored since you split the atom. Your invitation to join us is long overdue." Chen exchanged glances with her first officer, Commander Raj Sharma. "Monitored?" She mouthed silently. "High Commander," Chen responded formally, "we are honored by your contact. Earth would welcome diplomatic relations with your Federation." The alien made a gesture that might have been amusement. "Diplomatic relations will begin immediately. The Federation Council requests your presence at Central Hub. Your ship will be escorted. We depart in 2 of your Earth hours." Before Chen could respond, the transmission ended. "Well," said Sharma, "that was abrupt. And concerning," added Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's xenobiologist. "They've been watching us." "For how long? And why wait until now to make contact?" Chen nodded grimly. "Those are excellent questions, Doctor, and we're going to get answers. Prepare the ship for departure in 2 hours, and someone contact Earth Command. They need to know about this immediately." The journey through slip space took 3 days. The Defiant followed the Federation vessel through corridors of warped spacetime that the human scientists had only theorized about. When they emerged, the sight took everyone's breath away. Central Hub was an artificial ring world, spanning what appeared to be the diameter of Earth's orbit around the Sun. Millions of spacecraft, from tiny shuttles to enormous dreadnoughts, moved in perfect synchronization through designated flight paths. The structure itself pulsed with energy and light, housing what must have been trillions of sentient beings. "My God," whispered Chen as the Defiant approached a docking bay large enough to accommodate 100 ships its size. "Their engineering capabilities are beyond anything we imagined." The Federation provided an escort of tall, reptilian humanoids called the Verox, who guided the human delegation through vast corridors and transport tubes. After an hour of travel, they arrived at the Council Chamber, an enormous amphitheater where representatives from what appeared to be hundreds of species were seated or suspended according to their physiological needs. The central dais held 7 beings, each from a different species. Zix-Van was among them, apparently a high-ranking member of this governing body. "Representatives of Earth," announced a melodious voice that seemed to come from everywhere. "You stand before the 7 pillars of the Galactic Federation, rulers of 62% of the known galaxy and protectors of developing species throughout the cosmos." Chen stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we are honored to be here." One of the 7, a crystalline entity that shimmered with internal light, spoke next. "Captain Chen, your species has reached the technological threshold that qualifies for Federation contact. We have observed your rapid advancement with interest. Few species progress from basic spaceflight to rudimentary FTL travel in less than a century." "We are a determined people," Chen replied diplomatically. "Curiosity and innovation are core to our nature." Indeed, said another counselor, this one appearing as a cloud of luminescent gas contained in a transparent field. Perhaps too determined. Your weapons development has kept pace with your other technologies. This concerns us. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. We have developed defenses alongside our exploration capabilities. Space is unknown territory. It seemed prudent. Zix-Van leaned forward. What the Council is saying, Captain, is that humanity presents a statistical anomaly. Most species either develop technological sophistication or aggressive tendencies. Rarely both. I don't understand, Chen said carefully. Are you suggesting our development path is somehow wrong? Not wrong, corrected the crystalline being. Merely concerning. The Federation exists to guide species into the galactic community safely. This sometimes requires intervention. A holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber, showing Earth. Your planet stands at a crossroads. Your potential is immense, but so is your capacity for violence and territorial expansion. The Federation has a protection program for such cases. The image zoomed out to show a network of installations surrounding Earth's solar system. These containment matrices will ensure your species develops along acceptable lines. They would restrict your FTL capabilities to designated routes, monitor your communications, and limit your weapons research. Chen's jaw dropped. Excuse me? You're talking about putting our entire species under supervision, like some kind of galactic parole. It is for your own protection, said Zix-Van smoothly. And ours. Over 98% of species accept Federation guidance willingly. Those that resist eventually come to understand the benefits. The implications washed over Chen like ice water. This wasn't an invitation. It was an ultimatum dressed up as benevolence. She thought quickly, aware that the future of humanity might depend on her next words. The Council's concern for our welfare is noted, she said carefully. However, I lack the authority to accept such terms on behalf of all humanity. We would request time to consult with our planetary government. The Council members exchanged glances, clearly surprised by this response. This is unusual, said the gaseous entity. Most species recognize the honor of Federation protection immediately. Humans are thorough in our decision-making, Chen explained. It's part of our culture to consider all implications before committing to agreements that affect our entire species. After a brief conference, Zix-Van spoke again. You will be granted 14 solar cycles to communicate with your leadership. The Federation will expect your answer then. As the human delegation was escorted back to their ship, Sharma whispered to Chen, that wasn't a diplomatic meeting. That was an imperial power telling a colony what's going to happen. I know, Chen replied quietly, and we need to figure out what to do about it before our 2 weeks are up. Back aboard the Defiant, Chen called an emergency meeting with her senior staff. The mood was somber as they processed what they'd learned. They've been watching us all along, said Dr. Vasquez. Those containment matrices are already in position. They could lock us into our own solar system at any moment. Lieutenant Commander Wei, the tactical officer, pulled up scans they'd taken during their approach to Central Hub. Their technology is thousands of years beyond ours. If they decide to enforce this protection program, we couldn't stop them militarily. Chen paced the conference room. There has to be another option. Did anyone notice how surprised they were when we asked for time? It suggests they're used to species simply accepting their terms. Powell, who had been quiet until now, looked up from his datapad. Captain, while we were in the council chamber, I was running linguistic analysis on everything said and unsaid. There were frequent references to other species accepting Federation terms, but not a single reference to any species successfully rejecting them. What are you suggesting? Asked Sharma. I think, Powell said slowly, that we need to approach this differently than anyone has before. The Federation clearly divides species into categories, those advanced enough to join as equals and those that need protection. We need to show them we belong in the first category. Chen stopped pacing, And how do we do that when they've already made up their minds? We grinned suddenly. What if we surprise them? They're expecting either meek acceptance or futile resistance. What if we give them neither? For the first time since the meeting with the council, Shen felt a spark of hope. Lieutenant Commander, I like how you think. Let's get to work. We have 14 days to change the destiny of our species. Over the next 2 weeks, as the Defiant remained docked at Central Hub, the crew was busy. They studied Federation technology while appearing to simply be tourists. They made contacts with other species, gathering information about how the Federation operated and how other protected species were treated. What they discovered was disturbing. Protected planets effectively became resource colonies, providing raw materials and labor to the Federation, while receiving technological guidance that kept them perpetually dependent. On the 13th day, Chen sent a message to the Council requesting an audience for Earth's response. The Council, clearly expecting submission, granted it immediately. As the human delegation prepared to depart for the Council chamber, Chen addressed her crew one final time. What we do today will determine humanity's place among the stars for generations to come. We may be outnumbered and outgunned, but we have something they don't expect: the indomitable human spirit. Let's show them what that means. The human factor. The council chamber was more crowded than before. Word had spread that a new species was being brought under protection, and representatives from dozens of worlds had come to witness the ceremony. The 7 pillars sat in their elevated positions, radiating authority and power. Captain Chen led her delegation to the center of the floor, her expression unreadable. Beside her walked Commander Sharma, Dr. Vasquez, Lieutenant Powell, and Lieutenant Commander Wei, each carrying sealed containers. Representatives of Earth, Zixvan addressed them formally. Have you consulted with your planetary leadership regarding the Federation's generous offer of protection? Chen stepped forward. We have, High Commander. Earth has carefully considered the Federation's proposal, and we are prepared to respond. Excellent, said the crystalline counselor. The induction ceremony can begin immediately. Before we proceed, Chen interrupted smoothly. Earth requests the opportunity to demonstrate why our case deserves special consideration. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. This was clearly not how these ceremonies typically proceeded. The gaseous counselor swirled with agitation. The Federation has already evaluated your species thoroughly. The protection program is not negotiable. We aren't here to negotiate, Chen replied calmly. We're here to demonstrate. Surely the esteemed council wouldn't deny a developing species the chance to present relevant information. The counselors conferred briefly before Zixvan nodded reluctantly. You may proceed with your demonstration. Briefly, Chen signaled to her team, who opened their containers. Inside each was what appeared to be a simple metallic sphere about the size of a baseball. These devices, Chen explained, were developed in the 14 days since our last meeting. They use principles we observed in your own technology during our stay here. The spheres rose into the air, hovering at different heights throughout the chamber. Impossible, hissed one of the counselors. Your species lacks the technological sophistication to reverse engineer Federation graphitic systems. Chen smiled. And yet, here we are. Lieutenant Commander Wei, if you please. Wei activated a control on his wrist device. The spheres began to emit a soft hum, and holographic displays blossomed around each one, showing technical data. These are more than anti-gravity demonstrations, Chen continued. Each contains a specialized scanner that has been mapping Central Hub systems since our arrival. We've identified 27 critical vulnerabilities in your defensive grid, 43 exploitable pathways in your communications network, and 5 fundamental flaws in your power distribution systems. The chamber erupted in chaos. Security personnel moved toward the human delegation, but stopped when Wei held up his hand. I wouldn't, he warned. These devices are networked with our ship. Any attempt to interfere with them or us will trigger an automated response that would be unpleasant for Central Hub's operational status. Zixan's sensory appendages flattened against his head in anger. This is unprecedented. You dare threaten the Federation. Not threatening, Chen corrected. Demonstrating. In just 2 weeks, with minimal resources, humans identified weaknesses in systems you've relied on for centuries. Imagine what we could do as allies rather than subjects. The crystalline counselor vibrated with what might have been concern. You suggest that your species should bypass the protection program entirely. This has never been done. Perhaps it's time for a new approach, Chen suggested. Humans don't do well under restrictions. We innovate, we adapt, we overcome. Those qualities could benefit the Federation greatly, if you're willing to see us as partners rather than wards. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, activating her own device. A holographic display showed a molecular structure rotating slowly in the air. During our brief stay, I've analyzed samples of the biological agent affecting the Procyon system, what you call the withering plague. Your scientists have been unable to develop a cure for over 60 years. The gaseous counselor swirled rapidly. How did you access that information? Those research files are restricted. Vasquez shrugged. As Captain Chen mentioned, we're quite resourceful. The point is, I've identified the pathogen's vulnerability. With proper resources, I could develop an effective treatment within months. A new voice spoke from the gallery, a representative of the Procyons, a species that had been devastated by the plague. Is this true? You can cure our children. We believe so, Vasquez replied. Human medical science approaches problems differently than Federation standard methods. Sometimes a fresh perspective is all that's needed. Powell activated his own device next, displaying communication protocols. We've also developed a more efficient method of translating between species. Your current system loses approximately 30% of cultural context during translation. Ours preserves nearly 95%. Throughout the chamber, translation devices flickered as Powell's system interfaced with them, suddenly rendering speech with nuances and subtleties previously lost. This is remarkable, admitted the crystalline counselor, whose thoughts now translated with poetic flourishes that revealed a deeply philosophical mind. Such clarity of understanding. Chen took center stage again. The Federation operates on categorization, advanced or developing, ally or ward, asset or liability. Humanity defies such simple classification. We are passionate but logical, aggressive but compassionate, independent but community-minded. We won't accept being contained, but we would eagerly collaborate. She gestured around the chamber. Look at what we've accomplished in 14 days with limited access and resources. Imagine what humanity could contribute as full partners in the galactic community. From the gallery, representatives of other protected species watched with growing interest. A murmur spread through their ranks. If humans could challenge the system, perhaps others could too. Sensing the shift in the chamber, Zixvan raised all 4 hands for silence. Captain Chen, while your demonstrations are impressive, they also confirm our concerns about human unpredictability and potential danger. With respect, High Commander, Chen replied, unpredictability is precisely what the Federation needs. How long has it been since your last significant innovation? How many problems remain unsolved because you've approached them the same way for centuries? She pointed to the Procyon representative. Ask them if they would prefer predictable failure or unpredictable hope for their dying world. The 7 pillars conferred in private communication for several minutes while the chamber remained tense. Finally, Zixvan addressed the assembly. The Council acknowledges that humanity presents an unusual case. Your technological adaptability is concerning, yet potentially valuable. Your methods are unorthodox, yet effective. The crystalline counselor continued. Therefore, we propose a modified arrangement. Earth will not be placed under the standard protection program. Instead, a provisional partnership will be established, with appropriate safeguards and monitoring. Chen exchanged glances with her team. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. The first crack in a system that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. Earth accepts this provisional arrangement. Chen replied formally. with the understanding that it will be regularly reassessed as we demonstrate our value to the galactic community. As the session concluded, and the human delegation prepared to return to their ship, they were approached by representatives from a dozen protected worlds. "How did you do it?" asked one, a diminutive being with gossamer wings. "No species has ever resisted the protection program successfully." Chen smiled. "We recognize something the Federation had forgotten. Diversity of approach is a strength, not a liability. The universe isn't orderly or predictable, so why should its inhabitants be?" Back aboard the Defiant, as they prepared to return to Earth with news of humanity's unprecedented diplomatic victory, Sharma found Chen in the observation lounge, staring out at the vast structure of Central Hub. "You knew they'd back down," he said. "You gambled everything on their reaction." Chen nodded. "I studied their history. The Federation has existed so long that it's forgotten how to adapt. They've become so focused on stability that they fear genuine innovation. They needed to be reminded of what they've lost." "And now?" Sharma asked. "We're still massively outmatched technologically." "For now," Chen agreed. "But they'll be watching us closely, and we'll be learning from them just as closely. More importantly, we've changed the dynamic. We're not subjects or wards. We're the unpredictable variable that just might shake up a stagnant system." She turned from the viewport, her eyes bright with determination. "Humanity has arrived on the galactic stage, Commander. And we didn't just join the play, we rewrote the script." As the Defiant disengaged from Central Hub and prepared for the journey home, messages were already flowing between Earth and dozens of worlds, forming connections and alliances that would reshape the galaxy in ways the Federation never could have predicted. The age of human expansion had begun.